Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Grand Rising. This is Dr. Deontay Carter, Lisa Carrington, the phenomenal. We're going to jump right into it. We had some technical difficulties, so we're going to jump right into the show. Everyone, please grace us with what you all do. Lisa, I'll start with you and we'll go around and we'll speak and opine on what we do in creating Black brilliance, Black excellence.
Well, thank you, my wonderful co host. So, just so everybody knows who I am, I'm from Canada. Um, I've heard about this day, but it's not something that me on a personal level have actively celebrated. And so I feel very blessed and honored to be part of today and to be able to celebrate. So I'm in a learning situation right now, to be honest with you. I want to learn what it means or what this day means in the US so that I can take the conversations today and the feedback I received today to bring it forward in my platform, in my spaces, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to, I'm just in listening mode, and please teach me because I am open to learn. Just to give I guess, a little background on my who I am. I'm a Black woman in health and safety. I'm a Black woman in construction. There's not a whole lot of me in this space. I welcome anybody willing to come in. And I'm very in tuned in terms of the fact I'm in a space that there's not a whole lot of people that look like me. You know what I mean? And I welcome anybody that wants to come to this space because we need to see more of us in this space. And we are capable of anything that we set our minds to. And we
Yes.
need to take away the white noise that are out there to say that we can't,
Yes.
right? So we are about excellence. We are wonderful. We are innovators in a lot of spaces that we don't actively talk about. And we need to bring our voices to the forefront. And we need to stop apologizing to be in this space. We need to say we are here because we are worthy, we are valued, we have done the work, and we need to be in this type of space to then educate our next generation, our younger generation, the people that are here, the young people that need to be the leaders in this space. And we need to let them know that you need to exercise your voice. You need to be very active in this space.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's it for me.
All right, Stephanie, you have the floor. The ball is in your court.
Blessings, everyone. I want to say this really quickly. I am so honored to be on with this panel. I was in the chat last week, blowing up the chat as Lala Kalandra. It was a wonderful
Yes.
chat. And I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, dear Lord, please let me be on a show with this amazing panel. And look at God. Look what he did. Look what he did. So
Yeah,
I'm
God is
excited.
good.
I'm excited to be with such an amazing cadre of intelligent, Black, beautiful people. I am here for Juneteenth. My grandmother is from Houston by way of New Orleans, so we know all about Juneteenth. Excited to jump into this conversation, and I look forward to chatting with all of you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Dr. Coleman, you have the honors. Is this, am I saying your name right? Can you hear me?
I think Dr. Coleman may not be here.
Oh, no. Okay. So, well, all right. Uh, Leslie, you have the floor. What?
Hi,
Yes.
hi everyone. My name is Leslie. Happy Juneteenth, family. I am
Yes.
a licensed master's level social worker based out of Alabama, home of the civil rights movement. I'm passionate about helping individuals and families heal, especially within our Black communities. I believe that healing happens when we create spaces that are safe, culturally responsive, and rooted in both compassion and community. I'm honored to be a part of this conversation as we explore, the connection between freedom and healing, resilience and mental health. So thank you all for having me.
Absolutely. Last and definitely not least, Drew Edwards. Yes.
Yes, it is great to be here again. Really enjoyed last week. And Stephanie, I seen some clips from your episode. I was like, oh, I want to be on with her. This woman is phenomenal. So happy to be here. This is Black Excellence. I
Yes.
am Drew Edwards. I'm an associate clinical social worker. I have my MSW. I'm a therapist and also a life coach. I support people in having healthy relationships with themselves and others. I really support people in remaining and feeling safe in their bodies and being able to still feel connected to themselves and others, especially during conflict.
Ooh. All right. We gonna jump right into this. We had some technical difficulties, but um hopefully Lisa comes back. We're just navigating this technical landscape. So we'll start out with this. We'll also add any events that are happening locally where you all are at, whether in Alabama. My father's from Greenville, Alabama, by the way.
Okay.
South
Okay.
Central. So may George Carter Sr. rest in peace. So we'll get it started off with this. What does Juneteenth mean to you personally in 2026? And we'll talk about any events in your areas that and to just elaborate and celebrate our culture, Black brilliance, Black excellence.
I can jump in.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and well, really Brockton, but most people don't know of Brockton. So there is a Juneteenth celebration happening with my family's business. We have a Black History educational business that we call Harambe Learning and Culture Center. The event is going on to this afternoon at City Hall. So if you're in that area, please join. But to answer the question, what Juneteenth means to me, especially in this year, is really emphasizing that freedom. There are so many things that are trying to take away our freedom. As we see, they're trying to roll back voting, they're trying to roll back this, roll back that. And I feel like we as Black people, especially in America, we are being tempted to go back into shackles and chains. We're being tempted to go back into spaces and places that don't represent our freedom. So Juneteenth means remaining free. I always say freedom is a lifestyle. If I remain free, I'm going to remain free in my mind, my body, my spirit, emotionally, mentally. No one's going to trigger me. No one's going to push me over the edge so that you can create martial law. Like, no one's going to do that. I'm going to remain free to be who I am, to love what I love, to do what I do. And no one is going to use me like a puppet. I'm free. I cut the puppet strings. I'm free. You can't force me and push me to do anything by your actions, by what you're doing in politics, economically, geographically. I am free and I remain free. That's what it means to me. So I don't need to preach, but I'm like, my freedom is becoming so much more important now. Now that it's being threatened, my freedom is so.
Drew, what are your thoughts? What does Juneteenth mean to you? What is it? And what events around you is happening near you?
Stephanie is on fire, okay?
Hey.
I'm preaching, okay? I just want to echo everything that you mentioned about freedom is a lifestyle and it's a mentality. And I think about the resistance in the Black community from all of the hardships that we've been through and that we continue to kind of have these barriers and that we still are able to continue to push forward. And that is very empowering to me, that just to see how far we've come as a people and how we do not allow things in society to really hold us back. And so I am definitely happy to be in this part of history. We have the most like Black millionaires right now than in history. And so, again, despite the challenges, we continue to persist. And what is going on here? I'm in Palm Springs in California, and we have the Ebony Beach Club event that is happening in Palm Springs. It's sold out though. So that's, I know it's really, really big and really exciting to be happening here in Palm Springs.
We got Lisa back, and before Lisa opines with her phenomenal question, I'm going to go ahead and preface this. Akron, Ohio, born and raised in Akron, Ohio, big Ohio State fan. So Columbus is having a Juneteenth festival. Canton is having a Juneteenth festival. The Black Women's Museum is opening in Canton today. Oh my goodness. Cleveland, Juneteenth Festival, Akron, Canton. Shout out to my big brother Mark Bigsby. He always does a phenomenal job in Canton, Ohio, representing Juneteenth in Nemesilla Park. It's going to be a beautiful scene. Columbus, Ohio, we call it C-Bus instead of Columbus. You obviously know why we don't call it Columbus, but it's cultural Black unity standing up. That's why we call it C-Bus. So C-Bus is having a beautiful Juneteenth event, and then Cincinnati. If you all ever come up to Ohio, come to Cincinnati, get a flavor taco. Just like Living Single, Flavor Magazine is just they call them flavor tacos, and beautiful Caribbean, Jamaican jerk tacos. Oh my God. And they're about to grace the scenes down in Cincinnati, Ohio. So those are all of the events in Ohio that I'll say. But Lisa, you got it. You
So
got the
I have
floor.
to live vicariously with my co-host. So we're going through FIFA right now. So yay, Toronto. So we're going through FIFA right now, and I was privy to go to the game and see Ghana win. Yay, Ghana at the end of the day. So this is a big monument for Toronto to be on the map in terms of, world events. So that being said, this particular event that's happening today is not something that's on the world stage, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's plenty of pockets within Toronto or Ontario or Canada as a whole that celebrates this particular day, but it's not to a point where it's on the world stage. Okay, that makes a big difference.
Yes.
Right? So it takes people like myself and others that believe very strongly on today to bring it to the forefront to now say it needs to be on the world stage. So
Yes.
like I communicated earlier, I'm in a learning position right now with all of you because I know it's today is an integral part of US history. You know what I mean? And so
It
there's
should
parts,
be.
right?
It should
110%.
be. It
So
should be, but it's not.
and we will dive into that, but you know what the thing is, at the end of the day, as we're bringing out a woman who's getting into the political arena, we could talk about that a little bit later, and a person that actively listens and is mindful of Canadian and US politics. And I see that people outside of our community, right, that are bringing things forward to a point that they want that level of recognition, right? And I'm not going to go into details where they haven't put in the work.
Woo.
Boo, right? Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, so I'm putting that right now. So there's a lot of cultures that are coming in certain spaces where they want level of recognition like we're celebrating today, but they haven't put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right. I see some shake heads. I see some looks like, oh, Lisa's bringing it here today. So I'm going to be that person today. There are a lot of cultures that are coming into spaces based on what I've seen, both in Canada and the US, that want a level of recognition of oppression and apartheid and segregation and I'm war torn and all that kind of, but you didn't put in the work. Okay.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Let's keep it real. So at today, 161 years later of freedom, what are we doing as a people, as a community, to really showcase that this is a priority based on people who are just coming in to say, like, let's be recognized.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
I would like to jump in on this one. I think before we shift to that, I think it's important for us as, Black Americans, what does freedom look like? What does freedom look like in this current
100%.
era? Can it be defined? Is freedom, something that we can obtain? I like to say freedom is not just the absence of oppression. It's again the presence of safety, healing, and community.
Yes.
So we're technically free. But as seen a few weeks ago with the voting, situations down here, down south, they're actively trying to push us back to a time where we were not free. We were legally oppressed. So I think, other cultures wanting to come in, I think this is now, especially in 2026, I think this is the perfect time for us as a Black collective to kind of rally together and say, hey, what does freedom look like for us moving forward? And I think
Yes.
until we have that answer, I don't know how we can shift.
So I'm going to put on my hand right now, based on what I see. I feel like as a community, I feel like we need to move away from self, right? I feel like a lot of people are operating on this self level of validation. You see that on social media, you see that or whatever. Everybody's looking for self. We're not working as a community. At some point, and I'm looking at the group right now. I feel like I'm the elder in the room, right? So I'm over 50. I'm proud to say I'm over 50. I'm still working to earn my stripes at 60. So I have another 8 years to do that.
Got
So
it.
what I'm saying right now at that sense of community has gone to the wayside. We have structured society today, we're about self. You know what I mean? So things like this, like today and the 161 years later, freedom and all that kind of stuff, we're not even talking about that. And I also feel that at some point in our journey to get this level of freedom, we don't have sufficient leaders out there. We used to have the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther Kings. We
They
used to
killed
have,
them.
you know what I mean? The Panthers and all that kind of stuff. We used to have visible contacts, visible leaders. We don't have that right now. If you were to look in your space right now, in your community, and I'm speaking on myself right now, to say Black leadership, who is that? I can't
I'll
put
say
it on
Jasmine
my end.
Crockett. I'll say
Yeah, no,
Jasmine Crockett right now.
There's Black leaders in my community. I think when we look at major Black leaders, our Martin Luther Kings, our Malcolm X's, they were murdered, and
they
I
certainly
think
were.
that
Right.
that kind of, again, by design, systematically, institutionally, everything is by design. That was, let's kill, let's kill the leaders so that, hey, nobody else will step into this role as a collective. So I think that also aids into, which I will speak for Alabama, Black leadership is booming. It's booming. It's a lot
Okay.
of organizations, a lot of, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Deltas, we're gonna hold it down. Are you somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at that. We shaking. We doing the we boots on the ground work.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about right now. So right now, you guys, the two of you have established that you guys are sorors. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we
Right.
don't have we don't have that in
Yeah.
Canada, to be honest with you. Like something like that from elementary school, high school, you're now in university sorors. That is something you carry with you in your journey as adulthood. You know what I mean? At some point, and I'm just speaking on me. I'm not speaking for every Canadian, but I'm just speaking on me. Like there's a level of disconnect it in certain aspects of my life, like it doesn't carry through. And I appreciate right now the two of you are connecting because you're sorors. I've always wanted to have something like that. We don't have that kind of stuff over here.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But I feel like in terms of this topic, in terms of mental health and all that kind of stuff, like there's a lot of things that I feel like, and I'm speaking in my age group, like I'm age over 50, as a black person in Canada, I feel like there's a lot of that. A lot of us are carrying a lot of trauma based on our childhood, based on moving into adulthood, and maybe as an adult right now, we're still carrying this level of trauma that we're like walking time bombs right now because we haven't had the opportunity or we don't feel safe or to communicate with others, to really tell people like what we're going through. And so we just navigate in autopilot, if we're being honest.
Yes.
And
It's so
especially
true.
in date like today, like if it's something we actively celebrate in Canada, like let's talk about something we actively celebrate, like Black History Month. You know what I mean? And we talk about certain things, whatever, but we tend to talk about the same people all the time, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, and all that. And I know for myself, and that's the reason why Dr. Deontay and myself connected, is I was very intentional in my posting for this year to talk about people we don't normally talk about. But there's a lot of us, including myself, in this particular age bracket where we were in like space of leadership, but we haven't actually dealt with a lot of things that are holding us down. And we have just been on autopilot. And situations like this today, for us to really actively talk about it, we actually have to deal with the things that we're still trying to deal with, like the ghosts of our past.
The Red Summer of
I want to. I want to.
1919. I mean, the red. I'm gonna let you jump in. I'm curious about what Drew
No, go
has to
ahead.
say about what how Drew feels about the black condition of
Yeah.
what we're dealing with. What who in Florida? I mean, in Florida, who
Mm.
that's another.
That's a different
Yeah,
world.
the sanctimonious. Anyway. Um, what are your thoughts, Drew, on like the leaders that are in the spaces down in Florida? I have a niece that goes to FIU.
Mm.
Shout out to Ashley Featherstone, and it's something to where she is in a space that was able to just become a professor after she got her media uh, uh, graduate degree or whatnot. So, what does leadership look like? What does leadership look like for you? Down in whether it's political, grassroots. What does it look like for you all down in Florida,
I'm actually in California.
California? Sorry,
No
sorry.
worries, no worries. I'll say I have some awesome friends. I have some friends that are in their field and they're killing it. And to me, that's leadership. That, we have Black teachers. I know Black licensed clinical social workers, doctors, financial advisors. And
Yes,
so for me, as myself, as a Black therapist, and I work in mostly marginalized communities. And leadership to me is showing up and showing like, hey, I've worked to get to this space and I look
yes.
like you. And you can also, despite what's going on around you, you can still have a future that looks different than your current circumstances.
Mhm.
And so I think the hope that a lot of us bring in our career fields as being last week we had talked about like being high performing. And I think like a benefit of that is showing like again, I've got to this level in my career and I've escaped some hardships and you can also do that too. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, again, the Jasmine Crockett's of the world, the Dr. Renee Powell's of the world, the second Black woman to get into the Women's Professional Golf Association. Her father, Dr. Bill Powell, got spit at in his face after serving in World War II at Fairlawn Country Club. Decided to build decided to build the first Black golf course, not only in Ohio, that's an Ohio landmark in the nation. So we gotta use what we have and then create and expound upon that and keep it going and celebrate. And one thing I remember after meeting Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's youngest daughter, Dr. Bernice King. The one thing that I remember from her speech at Kent State University, was I wearing this? I think I was wearing the black one. I was wearing the one thing I remember Dr. Bernice King said, we have to celebrate the small victories. We can't just say, okay, we're just comfortable with, all right, we got to keep going, we got to keep going, we got to keep going. So we have to celebrate the small victories and continue to elaborate, expand, celebrate along the way, but keep going. And honestly, it's something to where it leads me to our next question. How does the legacy of slavery continue to impact the Black mental health community today? Ooh.
Ooh, how much time we got?
I mean,
Right.
police come from slave patrols. Slave patrol came
Right.
from police. Slave patrol, then police.
Oof.
And then, the whole Mississippi incident where a 1-year-old child gets shot and is dead. And the mother was showing her receipt and she got harassed by the store employees and the police in Mississippi. And her son is gone, perished because of slave patrol, police mentality. But I'm gonna get off that soapbox because I have 4 sons, so that really like broke my soul. But I had to regalvanize and say, no, this is
And
not
you know
going to
what?
stop.
I think no matter where you are in this world, Dr. Deontay is in the US, I'm here in Canada. It's the same. It's the same. Nobody's exempted from this, what he just described. So we do have our fair share in Canada of situations where you just shake your head and like, really, we're still doing this in 2026? So I can just imagine what's happening in the US and stuff like that. But we do have our own share of heartache where it's unimaginable to say, like, this is happening in 2026 still. Like, we haven't paid our dues. We didn't earn the right to be in these spaces to just be normal without this level of persecution and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, like I said, I'm in learning mode right now. So based on Dr. Deontay's question, I would love to hear what that means for each of you.
I think connecting this to mental health. So 161 years later, I think about when our ancestors were slaves and then the transition to even segregation and the survival of the fittest and having
Ooh.
to react to the environment and not having time to slow down and say, how do I feel about this? You don't have time. You have time to react. and to run and to perform and to do. And so I
Amen.
think about there wasn't safety really established in the body. It was, again, very much so survive this. And then that goes on to segregation also with the circumstances, whether it's police brutality. Um, and today we have folks. I'm really passionate about helping Black people to be able to, Black people especially who are like successful, to slow down and to be able to connect with their bodies. And a lot of times there's like this level of stress that just kind of remains at this level, right? And then that leads to like heart disease, diabetes, and all of these terrible like health outcomes for our Black community. And I really think that it's really deeply connected to the suppression of our needs and our emotions, because we were taught to just go, perform, do, do, do. You have to work. You have to work your way up, because what's going to happen if you don't? You're not going to make it. And so it's how do we, and I don't think saying like stop being ambitious is not, that's not the answer either. Like we can be both.
Oh,
We can
yeah,
be both. And it's how do
yeah.
I, still reach for, these career goals, these professional goals. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the first, Black doctor. I want to be the first lawyer, therapist, whatever it may be. And also, how do I also tend to myself and my needs and identify what's going on in my body and not have the internalized oppression and racism to say that it doesn't matter. My feelings do matter and my experiences do matter. And it's dependent on me to recognize that and to do what I need to do to keep myself healthy, because we see that nobody else is going to do it.
Nobody.
Preach.
Nobody.
And it's so funny.
I want to jump in.
It's so funny. We did a podcast on overachievers.
The anxiety,
yeah,
Right.
and anxiety. So that really touches on your point right there. So we have been programmed. We're not overachievers just because. We're
Right.
overachievers because people have taught us you have to almost be that entertainer in that space in order for people to see you. And I feel like we come in spaces as the entertainer because we want
We
people
play
to
a
be
role.
comfortable with us. We play a role all the
We
time.
put on a
We have
mask,
a mask.
and we play a role. And I want to say a couple things. In my intro, I was so busy bigging up everybody that I forgot to mention I'm a marriage and family therapist and also a mindfulness life coach, right? And what I realized is America is uniquely different because this is an international space now, right? Because we have someone from Canada here and folks are in America, South Africa. That's where I am right now. What I realize about America is this, that Black people have to always be on edge. Our adrenaline is always pumping. We're always in survival mode because uniquely, we still live with those who oppressed us. We still live with the descendants of those who unalived our family members, right? And put it on postcards and made skin and wore our skin and used our teeth. You know what I'm saying?
They ate
All
our
these
bodies.
heinous crimes. Hello. And fed our babies to alligators and crocodiles. Let's be clear here that we are still living amongst the descendants of those, and that mindset hasn't died. They're still with that mindset. People are still the strange fruit on the trees that Billie Holiday sung. Still now in 2026. It's just not as advertised. It's still going on. It's still occurring. It's still happening. So that's the thing about America. And, I always like to focus on the post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? Where it's like, now we're looking at what is going on post-slavery. And Drew, you said it right. We never got the chance to rest. It was slavery. Then segregation. Jim Crow. Then it was Reconstruction, Jim Crow. Then we June 1st just celebrated what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like the massacre. So we tried to have our own communities and we tried to have our own things and we thrived and we did it. We did Black Wall Street. We did all the Rosewood. We did all these people, all these places. We did all these things and they were utterly destroyed. So that's what makes our experience in America just a little uniquely different. we still have to look in the faces and live around and work around and be around those who committed those heinous crimes against our ancestors. How do
Yes.
we cope with that? If there is not another time for Black people, especially, to have great mental health skills, I call it mental wealth because it's about the financial system for me.
Yes.
If we do not have great mental wealth, this is the time to do it. There are so many external factors trying to knock us down and knock us out completely, trying to take us out, trying to make us turn on each other. What I was going to say too about the leadership, just want to jump back just a little bit. You know, we can't really have leadership anymore because we don't even stick together. We say boycott Target. We still have Black people say, but I love going there. And okay, well, boycott this. Well, I love doing that.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. I can't give up my brand. I can't give up my Gucci. I can't give up this. I can't give up that. And it's like, okay, well, then that's why we don't have the leadership. And if you strike the head, then the body will scatter. And the head has been struck and the body is scattering, but we need to come back as a collective. I'm landing this plane. We need to come back as a collective because it is time for us to step up. I don't know if we'll ever have corporate leadership again, but we need to be leaders of these, and then that'll make the big difference.
Yes.
So I'm going to put up my hand right now. Is that we need to, if I'm being brutally honest, in our community, and maybe it's just me, I'm speaking on my behalf, but I always see people just chasing something, like chasing this dream or chasing whatever, and never giving back. So I'll give you an example. So I look at it in a sense that, okay, you open a business and then within a year you're buying the Bentley. No. We're taking what we've done in this business as lessons learned, and we're reinvesting back in the business in order to do better. We're not trying to get better right off the bat. We're trying to learn from lessons learned so that we understand that. So I feel like a lot of people in our community are just jumping the gun. Like I'm owed this Bentley. No, you're not. Get the Honda that's fully souped up, and then take that as a lesson learned and learn how to work up to the Bentley, not in the first year. So I feel like, Steph, pointing into your direction, is the fact that I feel like people in our community do these leaps and bounds without taking lessons learned in order
Can
to
I
build
jump
a
in?
foundation.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Leslie.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna add in. I think because I'm a big dreamer. I have
Okay.
big goals. If I can go out and buy my dream house, dream car right now, I absolutely would. I absolutely do believe that, us as Black mental health professionals, I think we do deserve, a livable, sustainable, wage. I do think for some people, that dream, that Bentley, that's the only thing that's pushing them. Where everybody's in survival mode. So if it's like, hey, I'm gonna start this, I want this, and I think that goes back to Black people slavery. Oh, I'm always got to be working, I always got to be hustling, I always got to. We have to, as a Black community, we have got to learn how to not just survive but thrive. So I think that it is important that, which I know me, I do a lot for my community, I do a lot for my family. Anybody that's in need, they know that I have them. But in that same breath, I do think it is nice for Black people to enjoy the fruits of our labor. I think Black people, we are the only ones that have that conversation of, being humble, or not having certain things, which, look at history, look at our ancestors. They worked. What did they have to show for it? And they worked and worked and worked. So I think
Yeah, but I
it's a
think they were.
balance. It's a
Yeah,
balance of giving back, working hard, and also that dream that you should always be working to get to that next level, to help yourself and the community. So I think it comes with a balance.
yeah,
I
but I
agree. Oh,
also
go ahead,
think,
Lisa.
but I also think that what you were just saying, Leslie, I think that there's a part of us that we need to be able to humble ourselves a little bit, and not expect these leaps and bounds. Sometimes you have to do the legwork to build your foundation for God to bless you with the bigger things in life. And I feel like in this society today and I just, I'm supporting somebody that's running for politics right now. And I have to remind her to say, like, sometimes the little things are the ones that bring you forward, not these big leaps and bounds. And I feel like we're in a society today where we feel like the big leaps and bounds is the reward. But people are forgetting that you have to create a foundation that is built on the small things, right? And I feel like within our community, we feel like we have to achieve these big leaps and bounds. No, we don't. At the end of the day, you have to do the small things to put your foundation together to get the whatever recognition you're looking for. And recognition is not instant. Sometimes it takes time to build up to get that recognition. And we're looking for instant gratification. And that
And
doesn't always
Can
happen.
you give an example?
I can actually give you I can actually give you an example. Like right now, I'm dealing with a redlining issue that's forcing me to move out of the place that I'm staying in right now. And I'm dealing with a situation where a car insurance agency basically tried to say that I broke into my own car.
Wow.
With and then a issue where blackmailing issue where it's involving the criminal justice system and setting me back to not be able to get certain positions. I was one of the ones that were resigned from the federal government because I'm a disabled veteran. And being that disabled veterans were basically taken out of positions, and then I'm a 90% disabled veteran. So it was one of those things too that within all of that culminating, all of this negativity culminating, I had they basically said they did workplace disability discrimination, and I'm pushing forward to get that situated for the federal government after they set me back so much and it rippled into so many different things. And the point that I'm getting to is I work with the Urban League to create a Black magazine that celebrates Black brilliance and Black excellence, the diversity issues and anti-racism application magazine, movement magazine. And I'm at the starting point, and it's something to where I'm making sure the business plan is together. I'm reaching out to see who can be board of directors. I'm making it more. I want to provide more Black women to be in these spaces because a lot of Black women aren't in these spaces, and it's something to where that's what I did my dissertation on. I did my dissertation on Black women and how they just they can't advance. Sexual harassment. Who did you sleep with to get to that position? Who did you, and for Black women to be 3 times as likely to perish from childbirth and their children. Like, these are problems. The Henrietta Laxes of the world. I mean, the list goes on. The Diara Project, I did it it was a co-authorship movement that's an academic published, it's an academic publishing that highlights on what Stephanie just opined on. The Black Wall Street Massacre in 1921. And Chief Dickerson was the fire chief and the police chief, slave patrol, but he was a grandmaster of the Ku Klux Klan. Deputized 500 people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, went into their homes, broke in, firebombed, burnt down churches, grocery stores, doctors' offices, and completely just wiped it away. But the piece that people don't feel that don't want to that people don't want to realize is Atlantic Beach, South Carolina, has not been touched by segregation, oppression. Chuck Berry had a timeshare there, and the Temptations had a timeshare there. I'm trying to get property out there because, yeah, that's a beach, even with all of that negativity and all of that regressive, oppressive vitriol. They stood strong.
Yeah.
The Gullah Geechee culture stood strong.
So I'm going to jump in right now because I see a couple people in the chat right now. So Gamer Boy had a question about dealing with mental health, mental, and how we can ask for help. Trying to keep it to me for the last 10 years, but I need help. But how can I ask? So is there somebody like, is one of you can say like somebody like that? And I'm going to put myself in the mix as well. Like, I keep my personal trauma to myself. So what can we do as people that are holding on to these things to let it go, to release it?
988. You can call, text 988. Mental health practitioners will come out to you with the assist of first responders. But I would say do that, but then also the Urban League, you can go to HBCU within your state. They usually have a sliding scale for mental health help as well.
Hey, Wendy.
Yeah, I was gonna, as a social worker, before I pass it to Drew, um,
Oh, so you
just
can help me after 12.
uh-oh.
Hold on.
We should be good.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I like to say, in my clinical work, you have to feel if you want to heal. I think, especially when we talk about Black mental health, we cannot fully understand Black mental health without acknowledging the historical context that has shaped many experiences. So I would suggest if somebody is seeking out mental health, who is around you? Do you have a support system? Do you have somebody that you can go to? Hey, I'm not doing okay. Whether that is anxiety, depression, or, you just don't know what's going on. If you need to reach out for community support, reach out your local community mental health center. Who do you have available to you to provide you with that help? Now, if you call the police, they'll send out a mental health officer. But again, that mental health officer is an employee of the police department. Okay. So again, there goes that policing, that element of policing also comes in mind with mental health. So I always say, find somebody that you trust, go to them with your problems. Hey, if that doesn't work, if you have nobody else, go to the emergency room.
Yes.
Find some provider that you can talk to, a Black provider if you can.
Yes.
Like, hey, I'm dealing with these issues.
Yeah. I agree with everything that you just said, Leslie. And I'm going to add on to that joy and happiness are so important. When you think about like joy is more like long lasting. And I was just talking to my fiance about this last night about the importance of laughter. And what I love about us as Black people is our ability to laugh.
We gonna laugh.
We gonna laugh.
Yes.
We can laugh
and dance and celebrate still, despite the challenges that we may face. And so I think it's really important to continue to make time to connect with our bodies, to take care of ourselves, to really check in with ourselves and be able to ask ourselves on a daily basis and throughout the day and do check-ins of how am I feeling? What do I need? Any part of my body, what needs to be released? Do I need movement? I've been working so long that I need to get outside.
Yes.
So I think it's really important to again take care of ourselves, to, if for us as Black people to be able to fully experience our full range of emotions. And I really feel like have been taught, we haven't learned, a lot of us really haven't learned how to really support our nervous system and even just our humanness, to be able to, I have emotions and I can feel them, and it's safe. And what safe place, as you were mentioning, Leslie, like what are the safe places that I have that I can express these emotions? Because when we hold everything in, it just suppresses it and it doesn't go anywhere. It stays right there.
Right there.
And it builds up. So we really need to practice as a people releasing, and especially with all of the challenges and all of the, the hardships and the oppression that is going on in society and against us, and just consuming so much information and social media. We just have access to just so much information that our body and mind was just not made for.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Wow. Yes.
You would
It's
know
too
like
much.
what's going on in your community, but to know what's going on all the way like in your state, all the way to different states in your whole country, and then in the world, it's very overwhelming. And especially, when we're passionate about the work that we do and helping our community, we have to, again, make sure that we're taking a step back and disconnecting from the negativity and being able to find some positivity in our life to help us, to keep us going.
Stephanie, enlighten us with your thoughts.
Man, I'm like, yes to what everyone is saying. I'm like, first of all, I want to go back to the social media. I want to jump on that as well, because that lends to what we were saying about everyone wanting something so quickly. We look at celebrities, we look at all these influencers with these big houses that they're renting. They're renting. They're renting the houses. Okay, Airbnbs are renting it. I mean, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Real Housewives of Atlanta showed us that everyone is going and trying to get these big houses. These women are renting houses. We're going broke. We're going broke, bankrupt, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
and the Joneses ain't got it.
And the Jones, I'm a Jones. I'm telling you, as a Jones, I'm telling you, we ain't got it. Okay. But anywho, so I wanted to say that to Lisa's point, where it's like everyone's jumping, trying to go quick. Stop with that. It's social media. And then Drew, what you were saying, I'm like, heck yeah. We should not know every single thing, every moment of the day, in every part of the world, in Iceland, in Norway, in Mexico, in Jamaica, in Trinidad. We shouldn't know all this all the time. It's an overload and it's doing something to our bodies. And what I would say to Gamer Boy is this: what's it worth to you to focus on your mental health? Is it important enough to you? Before you dial 988, before you find your safe space, what does it mean to you to be mentally well? What does it mean for you and how you are in your family and to your friends and to a significant other if you have one, or any children if you have them? What does it cost to you? What does it mean to you to focus on this very important thing? And then go from that lens, right? Because as you were saying, Drew, I am fired up because I'm like, yo, we keep so much stuff in our bodies. Big Mama had to get a leg cut off. It wasn't because of the food. It was because of the trauma. My back is hurting. My shoulders hurting. I'm suppressing and oppressing all these emotions inside of me. It's causing a migraine. It's causing a backache, a knee ache. Come on.
Autoimmune issues.
Autoimmune issues, diabetes. Yeah, we talk about the food. Yeah, but it's our trauma that we're not releasing. And so I do want to do something really quick. If we could just take a collective breath in.
Yes.
And release it out. One more time for good measure. Collective breath in. And releasing it out. Look, I say this, and I'm landing this plane very quickly. If you can breathe, you can relax. That no matter what, in the midst of everything, if you can take that breath in, as long as you have air and lungs circulating through your body, take that breath in, put everything on pause, put that do not disturb, do everything and just pause it and take your deep breaths. Because the first thing to go is our breath when we're so anxious and stressed and we're looking at all the injustices happening, the 1-year-old getting killed and the Asian man off, for killing the 1-year-old and this, and don't talk about Carmelo Anthony, like all these things happening.
Yes.
Now take your deep breath, take your ancestral breath, breathe in all that what you need and let go of all the things you don't need. It's a lot going on. Feel free to cut off the news as well, because a lot of that is really attacking our nervous system. Gamer Boy, what does it mean to you to work on your mental health? What does it mean to you? How weighty is that to you when you're looking at the scale? What does it mean to you? And then focus on that. If it means something important, cool. Let's go forward. If you need a little time to work on it, okay. There's plenty of resources. You can reach out. There's people available. And I also saw in the chat, we're going to be having the Black men's mental health focus. Jump on those. There'll be plenty of resources. There's help available if we want to take it.
Yes. And listen, whether it's on this platform, I'm sending a connection to whoever I'm not connected with on LinkedIn. Drew, we locked in. Stephanie, we locked in. Leslie, we got to get locked in.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, we kindred spirits because I'm an ancestor of Alabama, so
Yeah, we cousins.
we gotta
Be
do that.
careful. Mhm.
We have to do that. So with all that being said, being that we're coming so close to this hour mark, how in the world can we follow you all and be educated from you all's Black brilliance and Black excellence?
I'll jump in. You can find me on Facebook, Leslie Renee Scott, RENA. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, LESRENA, Les Renee on all platforms. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Leslie Renee Scott.
Yes.
You can find me on LinkedIn at Drew Edwards. You can find me on social media at I am DRUEEDWARDS. I am Drew Edwards.
See, I'm gonna put a plug in for you. Don't spell it the tradition.
Right.
Spell it right.
Yes.
Get it right, y'all.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
You have to, because they'll be looking up the wrong Drew. We want them to connect to the right Drew.
Saying.
Okay.
Yes. And
Hello.
the female, and I'm a girl too, by the way.
Hello. Thank you. As far as where you can find me, 2 places. So I'm Lilac Calandra everywhere. That's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Lilac Calandra. And I also have a mindfulness life coaching business called Selah Mindset. Selah, coming from the Book of Psalms, the intentional pause, just kind of chilling, relaxing. So it's Selah, SELAH Mindset. You can find that on LinkedIn. You can find that on all socials. Would love to connect with you. We are all in this together, and we only have each other. We only have each other.
Yes.
How can we follow my phenomenal, just, I don't want to say partner in crime, but just phenomenal host, just doing the damn thing on Black mental health matters. Lisa Carrington, how can we follow you?
I am so honored that he said what he said. So you can follow me through Instagram, Lisa Carrington, or you can find me on IG, which is Princess Born to Shop, because I love a good outfit anywhere I go. And that being said, I just appreciate you ladies today, with all, despite our technical difficulties earlier. I just appreciate you being part of today, and me being on the other side of the room, as the Canadian here, and just learning, because again, like I said, there's certain pockets that celebrate this, but not enough pockets celebrate this. And this is something for me to learn and for me to bring forward in my spaces, in my community, and people that I speak to, how this is very important, that we need to recognize that. And I think the one thing that I promote on my end, if I'm being honest, is that we need to learn, and bring forward servant leadership. And what that means is we're not about titles. It's not a monetary thing. Is that we want to make sure that everybody wins that are within our circles and our communities. And we need to stop living behind these titles and these levels of entitlement. We are all just trying to get by in these spaces, and we need to humble ourselves. And that's why I always bring back, and promote servant leadership, because that's where a lot of our leaders in these spaces started out. They didn't do this for monetary value. They didn't do this for a title. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Black Panthers, all of them. They didn't do that because they were in the space. They did that because they believed in something.
Yes.
And they wanted to bring forward their belief system in certain communities or in their spaces and all that. And we need to get back on that. And we have lost sight of that. And that is something that I promote in my space. So thank you, everybody that has joined us today, including my wonderful hosts. I've learned a lot today and something I want to bring forward in my space.
All right, everyone. How you all can follow me, Ante Cartier on Instagram, on Facebook, ONTECARTIE. Um, oh goodness, I'm hooked on phonics works for me. CARTIER. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Dr. Corporal Deontay Carter. On LinkedIn, I am a poet as well. The Poetic Odyssey of Dr. Ante Cartier / Dr. Handsome. Facebook, LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram, and Fan Base, a Black-owned social media platform. So for y'all that don't know, Fan Base, do it. And I will leave you all with this, as the great Emperor James Baldwin always said: "Can't believe what you say because I see what you do. Do things with purpose. Don't just speak on it. Do it with purpose." And
Amen.
happy Juneteenth, everyone. Celebrate responsibly. Get to where y'all get to safe. Have a designated driver, whatever, but have fun. This is
Yes.
our day. This is our moment. We are
Yes.
free, and
Be free.
we constantly need to understand the assignment of celebrating Black
Yep.
brilliance and
Yep.
Black excellence.
Amen.
So happy Juneteenth, everyone. And until
Happy
next
Juneteenth.
time, I'm Dr.
All right.
Deontay Carter and the phenomenal host, Lisa Carrington, signing off. Be well,
All right,
everyone.
guys.